してもらいましたけど。
Okay, Bhakti.
During my trip to Japan, I was overwhelmed by the amount of incredible culture and traditions the country has to offer. I had the chance of meeting Tomitsuyu, a very young girl in the middle of her final week after 5 years of training to become a geisha. This is what I've learned in that time about this amazing centuries-old art form, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with you now. A geisha is an artist and an art piece at the same time.
イタリアの視聴者の方に向けてちょっとご挨拶していただけますでしょうか。
はい、おおきに、チャオ。
My name is Tomitsuyu. I am a Maiko. In a few days, I'll become a geisha, or as we call it here in Kyoto, a gaiko.
こんにちは。でよろしくこんばんは。今日はお気にいろいろありがとうございます。
My name is Reiko Tomimori. I am the mother, owner of the house of tea Tomimori. They call me mother because that's what the owners of tea houses where geishas live are called. I am almost like an adoptive mother, since in a certain way I have to take responsibility like a mother would. In the beginning, when I told my parents that I wanted to become a geisha, they said nothing. My mom was a calm type. She would leave all decisions to my dad. At some point, my dad agreed to this decision. He said that as a geisha, I would have learned all the elegant manners that they could not teach me.
My daughter became a Maiko 5 years ago. We respect what she chooses to be. We could only help her, and so we did. I am grateful to everyone that has helped her in this difficult world. And I am thankful for all the people that have worked for her development. In my life, every day is different. Every morning I have dance, singing, percussions, and flute lessons, and then tea ceremony training.
When I was young, I had to wake up really early to practice. Then, when the big sisters would arrive, I'd stay to watch them for a long time.
Around 3 o'clock, I go back to my okiya. That's what we call geisha's houses. I need 1 hour and a half to put on makeup and get dressed, putting on my kimono. Then I go out to the traditional banquets and I work till midnight. When I finally go to bed, it's already 2 a.m. in the morning.
In the morning, Tomitsuyu has barely any time for breakfast. Sometimes she skips and goes straight to her lessons. In the afternoon, she needs to work. Sometimes she would be in charge of the tea ceremony. Every night she performs at the banquets. She finishes at 9, but often another tea house would request her and she'll continue till midnight, like Cinderella. I usually call the mother of that house and ask her to send Tomitsuyu back home. When she gets home, she removes the makeup, takes a warm bath, and goes to sleep as fast as she can.
My family in Kyoto produce beautiful kimonos. I learned to love them since I was little.
It is hard to explain, but without kimonos there would be no geishas.
I am grateful to my grandmothers for my passion towards kimonos. They gave me one as a present when I was a child. When we celebrate our 3rd, 5th, and 7th birthdays, Japanese girls wear kimonos. Usually, they immediately want to take it off since it is very overwhelming. She started with borrowing Tomikiku's kimonos, one of her big sister of the house. She changes them every month. In a year, she'll have to provide her own kimonos.
Being a geisha is a lifestyle, not a job. Young people today will not be interested. I accept any girl who comes here to become a Maiko. If a girl has talent for the traditional arts, and if she's passionate about taking lessons, that is enough for me.
もともと姉が6つから踊りを習ってて、で私はもうとりあえず両親も私に
I was a very shy little girl. I used to play with dolls by myself. My big sister was more extroverted. She did theatre and dancing since she was 6 years old. After middle school, she became a Maiko. Since she was in that world, after my middle school years, I decided to follow her. But after 3 years, she left to get married. I then stayed alone and was a bit anxious. My other younger sister was sad for me, so she also became a Maiko. But after a few years, she also got married and left. At the end, I am always here.
I know I'm missing something. In an ordinary life, a young girl goes to school, has a boyfriend, a job, all of that. It's nice to be young. I have renounced these things, but I have gotten much more in exchange. Without all of the lessons that I have received, I would have never experienced this amazing life. I used to play some Western instruments like the piano when I was a kid, but I knew nothing about traditional Japanese music. Since I became a Maiko, I have learned so much about our culture. Now I feel lucky that I was born here in Japan. It is hard to explain my love for our traditional arts.
We have seen her practicing music, but honestly, we don't get to see her often, except when she dances. We don't really know what's best for her. We don't know in what she exceeds.
She really loves music. I feel like she should practice more of that. We saw her dance multiple times. We saw her play the flute. And we know that she is learning the shamisen, a traditional 3-string Japanese guitar, but we have never seen her play it.
I was about to leave at the end of my Maiko years. My big sister and the mother told me to wait, to become a geisha, and then freely decide. So I started to work as a geisha. I thought about doing something else, but I realized that there was nothing else I wanted to do. So I told myself, let's continue a bit more. And here I am today.
When I visit my parents, I usually meet some friends from my elementary school. They support me on this difficult path to become a geisha. I appreciate that. I don't have time to hang out with them. I don't have many free days, and most of the time I am alone because of scheduling. She used to read a lot as a kid, especially fantasy novels. She would finish any book, even a big one, really fast. She was happy just with books. We still have tons of her books at home. She would read effortlessly, even books not for her age. I am a lonely child. I used to have a bedroom just for me, but here we live all together. First, I shared a room with one of my big sisters. Now I am sharing with a young one.
To become a geisha, I had to forget about weddings. If one of us gets married, she must leave our world. Nowadays, in some places, a geisha can get married. But in reality, once you get into married life, you will abandon the geisha lifestyle. I wasn't brave enough to do that. I am used to the rhythm of this life. I wasn't confident enough to form a family. If a geisha wants to get married, she must go. There isn't much else to say. When she leaves, we do a ceremony called Hiki Iwai, the retirement ceremony. There are geishas that left without ceremony. It really depends on the person. I do have a bit of regret. My sisters, the young one and the old one, have families with children. And me, sometimes I think that I should have gotten married. Then I think that maybe as a married person, I would have other difficulties. So I am still not sure what would have been the best choice for me.
I see beauty in the geishas. They love the arts they perform for their entire lives. I see it in the strength that the older geishas have inside. It starts in their soul. That's beauty. I know I'm not at their level yet, but I hope to reach it soon.
The beauty, I will explain it to you. When I entered this world, I knew nothing. I first learned good manners and how to behave, especially with people older than myself. I was warned many times about my ungraceful gestures and movements. This drove me to learn how to present myself better. This is how you form the aura of a geisha, and this aura becomes beauty. It is important to put on makeup and wear an amazing kimono. But it is more important to be capable of adapting to the challenges this world puts in front of us. Watching all the bigger sisters, I would think they are so beautiful. I'd admire them. I wanted to be just like them. The beauty wasn't just on the outside, it was suggested in their dance. The 3 lines on Tomitsuyu's neck are only for special occasions. In older times, a woman was beautiful if she had a long, thin neck. So geishas would do anything to make their neck look long and thin. Tomitsuyu draws herself those 3 lines, and she's always perfect. Being a geisha requires incredible perfection and precision in the way they present themselves.
In the beginning, I was so excited to have this hairstyle. Now I have to admit that it's hard to keep it like this for long periods of time. It is even like this when I am sleeping. It is not nice to say, but in a specific area, my hair is pulled so tight that sometimes I bleed. When I have rest days, I let my hair go and relax. I dress normally and I go for a walk.
symbol for Tokyo. Tourists are fascinated by them. Maiko is not a real geisha yet. She is an artist who is studying to become one. You can say that she's doing a sort of internship. You'll see Maikos dance and play instruments together with the geishas, but if you ask them, they'll tell you they are not professionals. I don't know the exact meaning of having makeup just on the lower lip. In the older times, a Maiko would start at just 10 years old. It is possible that they thought that such a young girl should not wear full makeup. So, having only the lower lip with makeup on is like a badge for beginners. It's like saying that she's just starting, so forgive her if she makes some mistakes. The hairstyle of a Maiko was the style of young brides, but a geisha needs to retire if she gets married. So I think that at least once in her life, a geisha should appear like a married woman. Yes, it is a reversal of ideas, since she is actually preparing to live a life dedicated to the arts alone. Ages ago, when a young woman would get married, she would blacken her teeth to let everyone know she was not available anymore. Today, Maikos are between 15 and 20 years old. They are very young. When they do the ceremony to become geishas, in a way, they are becoming women, like married women. Even their hairstyle is a traditional style of a married woman. I think that is why we also blacken our teeth. Blackening the teeth is very old and obsolete tradition, today very rarely used. In the 1600s, married women used to paint their teeth black. Before that, it used to be the tradition between high-status nobility for males and females. Some say they used to do that for oral hygiene. I have my own theory. If the married women were really beautiful, it could have become an issue, so having black teeth would serve as a shield, a way to communicate immediately that they were married, but this is only my theory. It is upsetting that people in the Western world think that our lifestyle is related to that of prostitution. Maybe that's because in the 1600s, the Edo times in Japan and the Shakespearean times in England, those who work in the performance arts would be associated with prostitution. But this was because the arts needed financial help. There were no public funding and the world of geishas needed patrons. 100 years ago, if a geisha had a relationship with a patron, it would be almost considered a marriage. It is something completely different from the concept of prostitution. Today, it is impossible for a married man to have a sexual relationship with a geisha. It is not even possible to privately fund a geisha. We have public funds today. I want to make it clear that geisha was never a prostitute, not even in the past when she would have had a relationship with the patrons or anybody else. I want to add that nowadays, geishas in Kyoto have much stronger morals than regular women. They have a very strong idea of chastity. In the geisha's world, we normally don't accept new clients. Only the regular clients can bring their relatives or new people. This is the only way to get new clients. Mine was a particular case. My mother was sick for 10 years and we did not have clients anymore. So I looked for contacts between people that showed a sincere interest for our art. I wanted them to gradually become our clients. The first step was the tea ceremony. Today, we have many clients from overseas. In the past, only the men working outside their home would come after work and relax. But today, even the women come after work, so we also have female clients too. They are usually very interested in the makeup and the kimonos.
Every once in a while, I start a diet. That means not having my midnight snack anymore. I'll admit that it is amazing having a sweet snack in the middle of the night. Chocolate, ice cream, cake. But I am a bit worried. I am getting a bit chubby. I'm not keeping myself in shape. With this hairstyle, it's hard to exercise. If I run and move too much, my hair will lose its shape. So ultimately, I'm only moving during my dance classes.
A kimono does not adapt to the body. It's the body that adapts to the kimono.
But now that I think about it, wearing this kimono is an exercise. I'm always getting up and sitting down, and this kimono weighs 10 kilos.
I don't know how a geisha should keep herself in shape, but I can tell you that the dance lessons are very hard, way harder than what it looks at first glance. To keep every movement fluid and effortless, you have to use your internal muscles very well. It is hard. Geisha practice every day. It is good exercise, more practical than diet. I don't do anything to keep myself in shape. I need good muscles, I need to exercise, I know, but I don't do it. It would be nice if I gained some weight. I am getting older and my skin gets older with me. A geisha needs to be very attentive to every detail. A collar should never stick out. The hairstyle needs to be curated. The makeup has a white base. They all say that the skin becomes softer once you remove this white base and wash your face.
I'll admit that I feel a bit strange, like I'm not myself. I can't laugh, I feel constricted. I ask myself when I can move my face, but I feel like I should not move it. Because of my new hairstyle, I also don't know how tall I am. She used to swim really well. She was so good at it when she was at school. They brought her on a trip to swim with the dolphins. She was so little and she went by herself, alone in the sea with the dolphins.
I have forgotten most dreams, but I do remember some of the more absurd. I was dreaming of being late to a show. Or I would dream of being the only one not capable of dancing. With all my strength, I would try to follow my sister, but I would be incapable of moving. I would panic. Sometimes I would wake up crying.
I don't remember my dreams. When I was a beginner Maiko, I used to sleep with one of my big sisters. She told me while I was sleeping I would talk and say, "Sorry, sister." I'm not sure why. Maybe in my dreams I would make a mistake and had to apologize.
I remember a dream where my older sisters would not understand my emotions. I would cry. I would try to explain, but no one would understand me. When I woke up, I was ripping off my clothes. Very weird dreams, really. As a young one, I would never remember my dreams. I would go to sleep thinking, today it's over, I am happy, and I would sleep deeply.
If we were talking about real dreams, then I always dreamed of becoming a geisha. I never considered anything else. This dream is about to become a reality. Soon, I'll become a geisha.
将来ですか。もう私この年になってね、将来って言ったら何してるかわからないの。
At my age right now, I would not know what to say about real dreams. I just hope to live my life safe, relaxed, and healthy. I'll continue being a geisha till something stops me. I'll continue till the day I consider my performances not acceptable anymore. Maybe that day is getting closer, but for now, I'll continue.
もう不安。
I feel anxious. I'm about to do the erekai, the ceremony of the exchange of the collar. That turns me into a geisha. I keep asking myself if everything is okay or if I need to prepare some more. My big sisters have helped me. I know I can count on them. But seriously, I am really nervous. If she wouldn't show any artistic abilities, she would never become a geisha. She must have worked really hard, because only like this you can create a solid background to become a geisha. I couldn't even imagine that I would continue for 5 years. I had some difficult moments. I was unsure between leaving or continuing. Now I am proud of myself. I have so many people that support me. It is hard to explain what drives me. Let's say that I want to work hard to become a geisha that is appreciated by a lot of people.
Tomitsuyu doesn't have time to celebrate now. She needs to introduce herself as a new geisha in the district. We wish you all the best, and we thank you for letting us tell your story.
As of today in Kyoto, there are approximately 180 geishas and 80 Maiko. But I heard that after the war, there used to be thousands. In our zone alone, there used to be 80 tea houses. It is unfortunate that the situation has changed so much. But our world has survived anyway, no matter what. Geishas will continue to exist. The modern world has changed a lot of things, but we need to be aware of what could be changed and what must absolutely remain the same. If we understand how to adapt to the modern world, then the geishas will continue. That is my goal.
でもよかった。もうかんざしが無事で、もうそれだけほんまに気をつけて長いし。
このなんか別行のがすごく古いのを上井さんから借りてるのですごい。これって大丈夫？髪の毛引っ掛けてへんの？
あ、全然
大丈夫？危険。
あ
これで全部かな。よいしょ。
あ。おきねさん。軽い。おきねさん。すごい。はい。よいしょ。すごい。そこら辺にピンがあったよ。
なんか髪の毛軽くなったらなんか涙腺も軽くなってしまうから。もう明日泣かないように今のうちに思い切り泣いといて。すいません。
I have been told that when her head becomes lighter and her hair falls down, her lacrimal glands relax. But I do understand that reaching your objective after 5 years of hard work could make you emotional. So please, Tomitsuyu, feel free to cry. Cry a lot today, so you will not tomorrow. From now on, she'll have to study even more if she wants to become an amazing geisha. If she wants to become a masterpiece.